I'm making this video very shortly, very quickly, just to sort of vent my current emotions. Specifically, I'm talking about this book, Bones of the Lost by Kathy Reichs. I've had my fair share of run-ins with this series, as in I've been reading the series, and this book, this one in particular, I think it's been a build-up. It's just left me with some stuff I want to talk about. If I look tired, it's because I am. I'm tired and sick. I'm sick and tired of Kathy's. So, basically. This book was quite touching. I don't know if that's the word that I would use. Quite solemn. It made me feel very solemn. I'm not gonna get into the plot very much because the plot is its own thing and it changes. My interest is the main, not the main storyline, is the storyline of the relationship between Temperance Brennan and Andrew Ryan. Wait. Tia. Andrew's been cold to Brennan for this entire book from the beginning. Hasn't really said a lot. And she's been like phoning him. She went to a war zone to help out with this like trial, which is part of the plot that I'm not going to get into. It's crazy though. She went to this war zone and she was like, "Hey Ryan, I'm going to a war zone," left a message for him and he didn't get back to her. And so she's like, "I've done something," because he's not interested in me anymore at all. He's not talking to her. And I don't think this is going to do it justice, but they're basically, it's a whole long ordeal. Not so prevalent in this book because the plot is more kind of the thing of focus, but it's there in my mind the whole time while I'm reading. I'm like, where's Ryan? When's Ryan gonna show up? Okay. Ryan shows up towards the end. I think it's in the 20s or 30s chapters. He shows up at Brennan's door and he looks probably a little bit worse than me right now. He's like just not doing well, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on, bud?" You know, trying to light the mood. And he's like, just not having it. And I was at college listening to it. And I was like, this is the worst thing. Like, I kind of saw it coming. But actually hearing it, I was like, oh my god. I didn't think they would actually do it. He goes, "She's dead." Who's dead? Lily. Ryan's daughter, Lily, died of a heroin overdose. And that is so sad in itself. Lily has like kind of been a bit of a side character, just been like interfering with their relationship basically. But she was in one of the books, I don't remember which one, they went to Hawaii. And she was there and she kind of built up like a bit of a relationship with Katie and Brennan's daughter. And things seemed to be going better, but then she died. We didn't know her that much as a character, but it's so sad for Ryan. Like, oh my god, this guy cannot catch a break. And it's sad for their relationship with Brian and Temperance as well, which I know shouldn't be a main concern right now, but it is. So it's like so sad. Because Ryan's like, Tempe's trying to comfort him, and he's just like, it's my fault, you know, for being absent, because he thinks that her heroin addiction is his fault because he wasn't there, but he didn't even know she existed. It wasn't his fault, but obviously he thinks that, and he thinks that if he had focused more on her rather than his work, that this wouldn't have happened. And that is so sad. But in the midst of trying to kind of like give him some comfort, not really know what to do, she's like, "Stay here," because obviously he came all the way from Canada to tell her this. He's like, "I thought you should know," basically. And she's like, "You gotta stay here." And he's like, "No, I can't. I need to go. I need to move. I need to leave." And she's like, please stay." And he's like, "No, I'm going south." South where? I don't know, bro. But like, And he just leaves. My nails are blue because of ink. Thank you for noticing. He just leaves and he's like, I gotta go. And then he turns around and he's like, and I guess he like hugs her, I think, and it's so when he hugs her, Temperance sees a car and she's like wary because of the events that's going on. Temperance has always got someone after her. She's like tenses up, and so he breaks the hug because he's like, oh, you want to go, okay. But it's because she's looking at the car. Later on we found out that that car belonged to Tempe's ex-husband. They're separated. He was getting married to a younger person, so they were like, let's officially file for divorce. He comes over and he's like, I saw you with Ryan. And she's like, oh, that was you in the car? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, why don't you stop? And he was like, because you were busy. You were with someone. He kind of still has a thing for Brennan, but he cheated on Brennan, so Brennan's like, I don't want anything to do with you, really. Like, they're still, like, close and they're friendly. They've obviously got a daughter together, and they, like, watch each other's pets. But, she's like, I don't really want a relationship, even though they did get together a little bit, like, a few books ago. But that was, like, a one-time thing, just, like, a little fluke. And then he says, I've called off the wedding. And she's like, well, no surprise there, because you were having, like, so much trouble planning it. You kept pushing it back anyway. And he's like, no, I called off the engagement. He's like, I mean, he says, I saw you with Ryan. It's like, you, so... And she's, like, kind of thinking after he left, she's like, did he even file the divorce papers? Because I gave them to him, I signed them. But did he file them? So I'm just a little bit stressed, because the story, the actual plot, was sad. Like, it was an upsetting plot. Like, sometimes I'm a little bit like, whatever, but sometimes they're like very like, oh, that sucks, putting it lightly. But I enjoyed this book. Like, it wasn't a bad time reading it or listening to it. But like, it was like the reveal, I was like, whoa, which doesn't always happen. But yeah, it was a good read, but in terms of me being a big fan of Ryan and Brennan over any other part of the plot, I'm having a hard time. So that's it. That's all I want to share. I'm having a hard time with this book. But I was gonna wallow, and I did. I made some playlists with sad songs in them. I went on Pinterest, made a little board, went on Tumblr, did a little posting. And I think I need to read the next book, because, you know, if I don't, then I'll be stuck in this kind of thing. I was very worried when I heard about Ryan being like, oh, I gotta move, I gotta leave. I was like, is he gonna come back? But I don't think he would abandon his job like that, and I don't think he would abandon Brennan like that. I think he's gonna need time to grieve, obviously, because what's happened is so like terrible. So I think that, this is my prediction, I think that it's going to take some time. Ryan and Brennan's relationship has already been very rocky. I'm worried about Pete. I'm worried that Pete and Brennan are going to get back together. I'm worried that Ryan's just going to disappear out of the picture altogether. But I'm hoping, I'm praying that that's not going to happen. I'm hoping that Ryan is going to come back and be like, they're going to kind of mend their relationship, because he does genuinely care for Brennan, and I know Brennan cares for him. But I'm worried about Pete, and there's another bunch of other things going on, which I will address in the video that I'm going to make. I don't know when I'll make it. I kind of want to read all the books first, so I actually know, like, I'm up to date with what's happening, so I'm not just, like, being like, I don't know what's going to happen next. But, yeah. That is where we're at right now. And I'm just a little bit like, oh, sad. Very sad. But we've got to move on. So I will read the next book and the book after that, and we'll see. Thank you.